戴维刚刚讲的就是关于怎么比赛 tournament， 要总结一句啊，就是 never give up， 坚持到最后1分钟。有可能你最后一个 casting， 最后一个抛竿就掉条最大的，这是 never give up。
血战到底
啊，一定要是不能放弃，不能像睡觉啊，睡觉是吧？anyone else? Dave, I have.
Well, that's a long answer to that question.
Yeah. How do you?
Yeah, actually, the reason I answered that question is I did facing that 2 days on Wednesday. And following the tournament, the story I heard from a couple guys is really different from whatever you told me today.
Trust me, what I told you is
But
the
I
truth.
learned lots from the comment from you, including facing different location. Even if someone facing over there already, you try different way facing over here.
Sometimes that fish is there. He may not want what that other person is doing. You know. The other thing is, you know what? Rice Lake is one of those lakes where, first of all, you can win in a largemouth, you can win it on a smallmouth. Okay. You know, it doesn't matter. I mean, we had a CFT Pro-Am there, a big tournament there, probably about 5 or 6 years ago now, and I ended up finishing second in it. Okay. I don't want to say the guy who won got lucky because he's not lucky in that lake. He's won a lot of tournaments. Mike Jackson won. He's had a cottage on there for I think 30-something years, so he knows the water. But in the last 20 minutes, he caught 2 5-pound smallies. You know, and he ended up just beating me. But I thought that would have been one of my ultimate tournament wins if I had won, because I weighed almost 18 pounds of largemouth on the first day, and I weighed 18 pounds of smallmouth on the second day. I did weigh 5 largemouth the first day, and I weighed 5 smallmouth the second day. And I ended up second, unfortunately, because he caught those 2 fish. But you know, that again shows what I guess something I believe in is being versatile. You know, there are guys who they like to fish for largemouth. That's all they fish for. Me, I'm going to fish for whatever gives me the best chance to win. You know, I don't care what it is. You know, largemouth or smallmouth. And the reason why on that particular tournament I weighed all largemouth on the first day was largemouth is not that they're easier to catch, but the areas that you fish for them are more obvious. Okay, so when you're dealing with a 2-day tournament or you know a 3-day tournament, the largemouth water will get hit hardest first. Okay, and that's why I fish for the largemouth on day 1, take whatever I can, and then the second day I'll fish a smallmouth, which a lot of times the water is much more subtle when I'm fishing. You know, it could be. I'll tell you what, I don't think there's any water in most of these lakes that's a secret largemouth spot. But trust me, there are secret smallmouth spots out in the lake there. You know, and it might be something that only works for a year or 2, and then it's not the same anymore. Sometimes the weeds grow over it. You know, it could be as like one of the areas I like to fish. All it is a zebra mussel bed. It's just in the middle of a weed area. There's hard bottom with zebra mussels on it. But that was good for about 3 years, and then the weeds grew into it. Wasn't so good anymore. But the thing about smallmouth, if you can find them in some areas where, like I said, it's not easy to find. So that's something you can always have, you know, kind of in your back pocket for the time when you need it. Whereas like the largemouth stuff, it's pretty obvious, you know. There's that dock, there's that weed line, there's no, especially on a lake like Rice Lake, there's no deep water for largemouth, so everything is very shallow. Those trees, it's obvious. So, but if I had ended up winning that one, it would have been the ultimate kind of tournament win, just because I did it one day. Now I did have, I think it was in 04, and on a weekend I fished a tournament up on Stony Lake and won that Pro-Am with 21 pounds of smallmouth. And then I came to Rice Lake on the Sunday and fished Rice Lake, and we won with 23 pounds of largemouth on the same weekend.
23-pound largies.
Yeah. And I have a 2.5 pounder in there. I had 4 or 5 pounders and a 2.5 pounder.
Ooh. Never think about that.
And my partner lost 2 5-pound smallies that day.
Wow.
We should have been like 25 pound, but some days, you know, it just goes your way, right? Some days things just happen. If you want to, I can tell you the story.
Yeah.
This is a good story. When we weighed the 23 pounds of largemouth, I fished the Pro-Am on the Saturday. Pro-Am was worth more money. It was worth a boat, right? Like a $20,000 boat. So I spent the time pre-fishing for that. I didn't have time to pre-fish for the Rice Lake one. My partner I fished the Rice Lake one, Rob Lee, he was busy, he didn't have time to pre-fish either. So we got there and he's going, what do we do? I'm going, well, when I had a tournament early this year, I found some good fish here, so we can try those areas. So we started in the one area. In fact, it's the same spot that we got the 6-pounder on this year. So we got one keeper there. That was it. Nothing else. And then as we moved off it, he hooked into about a 5-pound smallmouth on a spinnerbait. Jumped 3 times, thought it was hooked. He had a stinger hook on it and everything. And that's one thing about smallmouth. How many people, when you hook a smallmouth, try to put the rod down to keep it from jumping?
就是钓到小口的时候，把杆儿缠着，就是防止它鱼降。
I do.
很多人做这种事啊。
I do. Do I think it makes a difference?
But sometimes it doesn't work.
Not to a big smallmouth. If a big smallmouth wants to jump, I don't care. You can have 8-foot long arms. He's still going to jump. They don't care. But you know what? I do it just because I feel like at least I'm trying to do something. Right? I feel better about it. If I lose it, at least I was trying, right? If I don't try it, it comes off. Anyways, it jumped 3 times and he had it down. And we thought he had it, you know. He's fighting, and all of a sudden, he goes, it's gone. What do you mean it's gone? It's gone. It just came off. It was down there. It just came off. So whether it just tore off, anyways, never a good way. You know, second fish of the tournament, you lose a 5-pound smallmouth. It's not a good way. So anyway, I took him. I said, I got this weed line. We can get our limit there. Sure. We went and caught probably 8 fish there, and we had a limit for 9 pounds, 5 fish. Yeah, not very good. And sometimes luck plays a big part for some people. My partner Rob Lee is the luckiest fisherman I know. He does the stupidest things and he catches big fish. I'm serious. I don't know how he does it. That's what we were laughing about tonight when I was talking to him. So we come into this other weed line and I wanted to fish the docks on the inside of it. So I start fishing the dock and the weeds are coming right to the surface. What do you think he's throwing out there?
Jigs.
A big Zara spook. Everybody knows what a Zara spook, walking the dog.
Hot water stuff.
You can't throw that when there's all weeds to the surface. It doesn't work. It catches all the weeds on the surface.
Get stuck there.
Anyways, I'm doing it at the docks there, and all of a sudden I just hear, and I turned around and there's a big boil. I'm going, what's? And he goes, it missed it. Oh God, it must have been a muskie. You're lucky. I'm going, thank you. So anyways, you know what? I just went to, he throws it back out there. It lands in an opening. He walks it twice. Toilet bowls again. 5-pound largemouth. I'm going, okay, only you could do this. So I net the fish. We put it in live. Okay, we're good now. Now we got, 4 babies, real cute ones, and we got 1 5-pound largemouth. And we're going along. We finished the end of the docks. So when I finished at the end of the docks there, I was telling him the story about when I was practicing earlier that year on that same set of docks. And when I reached the end of the docks, sometimes your line's kind of messed up on the reel. So I reached the end of the dock, I said, and I'm telling him the story while I'm doing it. And so I got to the end of the docks. So when I got to here, I took my line in practice and I just threw it out there. And I did this while I was talking to him because I had to fix my line, right? And I go, and then while I was reeling it